Hello and welcome to BYJU'S IAS. This is 21st of October 2021 and we are back with the next daily quiz. Question number 1 on your screen is this. Kushinagar is a significant place in Buddhism since number 1. It is Gautam Buddha's final resting place. Second, Gautam Buddha spent 24 rainy seasons here. Third, Gautam Buddha gave his first sermon here. Or fourth, Gautam Buddha attained enlightenment here. I'm sure most of you would be aware of this. The answer is A. It is Gautam Buddha's final resting place. The reason why we are discussing this question is because yesterday Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated an airport at Kushinagar. Now, why did he do that? This is because the government is planning to give a push to the Buddhist circuit. Under this, the government is planning to make improved infrastructure at 9 places which are significant from the point of view of Buddhism. Of these 9 places, one of them is Kushinagar. What are the other places which the government has included in this Buddhist circuit? Here you go with the list of the 9 places. Starting with Lumbini, where Gautam Buddha took birth. Kapilavastu, where he spent his early years. Bodh Gaya, where he attained enlightenment. Sarnath, the place of his first sermon. Nalanda and Rajgir, where he lived and taught. Kaushambi, where he preached. Shravasti, where he spent 24 rainy seasons. Vaishali, the place of his last sermon. And Kushinagar, that is the place of his death, or as we call his final resting place. Buddhism, anyway, is one of the most favorite topics of UPSC, especially in the prelims examination. Question number 2 is this. Which of the following nations share a boundary with the Black Sea? Russia, Romania, Greece, Turkey, or Bulgaria? You can look at the options. The correct answer here is C. That is, except Greece, all the nations given here share a boundary with the Black Sea. Russia, Romania, Turkey, and Bulgaria. The reason why we are asking this question is because the American forces are trying to increase their presence and the presence of other NATO forces in the Black Sea region, because they think that Russia is trying to influence the nearby nations as it did in case of Ukraine. It is important to note that the nations that surround the Black Sea are Romania, Bulgaria, Turkey, Georgia, Russia, and Ukraine. This, as you can see, is Greece. Greece does not share a direct boundary with the Black Sea. Moving on, question number 3. Under the Liberalized Remittance Scheme, also known as the LRS, resident individuals are permitted to remit up to which of the following amounts in a financial year? 1 lakh US dollars, 2.5 lakh US dollars, 5 lakh US dollars, or 10 lakh US dollars. The correct answer here is B. That is 2.5 lakh US dollars or 250,000 US dollars. The reason why we are asking this question is because outward remittances in the month of August hit an all-time high as per a recent report by the Reserve Bank of India. In this article, you will find a lot of details on how the Indians are spending their money on study, on travel, and at other places. The money being spent on study especially is now at an all-time high. Under the LRS scheme, the amount of $1.96 billion was touched in the month of August 2021. This article also tells you at the very end that under the scheme, resident Indians are allowed to remit up to 2.5 lakh dollars in a financial year. Moving on to the next question. Question number 4. Consider the following statements with regards to the impact of increased temperatures. Number 1. Rising temperatures shorten the time in which the plants reach maturity. Second, rising temperatures result into smaller yields of plants. Third, the WHO European region is the most affected when it comes to deaths due to heat exposure. Which of these given statements is or are correct? Correct answer here is D. All of these are absolutely correct. The reason why we are asking this question is because of a recent Lancet report under which deaths related to heat exposure in India and Brazil have increased significantly in 2018-19. Not just this, the article also talks about the impact of rising temperatures on crops. As you can see here, the article tells you that rising temperatures shorten the time in which the plants reach maturity, meaning that they have smaller yields. They have also given examples of maize, wheat, and other crops and how their yield has decreased with rising temperatures. The third statement here about the European region may be a difficult statement to solve because by default we assume the lesser developed nations to be impacted more with heat exposure. However, as the article says here, it is the WHO European region that is the most affected due to the heat exposure. Moving on to a previous year question that was asked in 2019 prelims examination. Consider the following statements. Number 1. Agricultural soils release nitrogen oxides into environment. Second, cattle release ammonia into environment. And third, poultry industry releases reactive nitrogen compounds into environment. Which of these given statements is or are correct? The correct answer here is D. In such questions, understand the fact that since they have not mentioned any quantity, that means even if agricultural soil release minute amounts of nitrogen oxide, or even if cattle release minute amounts of ammonia, these statements would turn out to be true. All these three given statements are absolutely correct. The agricultural soil is a very significant source of nitrous oxide. Not just this, livestock account for 14.5% of all the greenhouse gases. All this data has been taken from a United Nations report. Time now to move on to a fact of the day today, and today we will be discussing about the post of the Deputy Speaker. This big article is in today's Indian Express newspaper, which talks about the fact that ever since the new Lok Sabha was formed in 2019, the post of the Deputy Speaker is still vacant. It's a good time to discuss the significance of the office of the Deputy Speaker and some important pointers that you must remember. The Deputy Speaker is elected in a similar manner to the Lok Sabha Speaker. That is, the Deputy Speaker is elected by the members of the Lok Sabha from amongst themselves, interestingly on a date decided by the Speaker. Do remember this? The date of election of Speaker is decided by the President, while the date of election of Deputy Speaker is decided by the Lok Sabha Speaker. Also, since the 11th Lok Sabha, there has been a general consensus amongst all the political parties that while the post of the Speaker usually goes to the ruling party or the ruling alliance, the post of the Deputy Speaker should go to the main opposition party. Not just this, the significance of the office of Deputy Speaker only begins in case of absence of the Speaker. When the Speaker is present in the Lok Sabha, the Deputy Speaker sits in the House just like any other member. But it is when the Speaker is absent or when the office of the Speaker is vacant that the Deputy Speaker takes up the office of the Speaker and performs all his duties, including having a casting vote in case of a tie. You all would also know that Deputy Speaker has a special privilege, which is if he or she is appointed as a part of any parliamentary committee, he or she automatically becomes the chairman of the committee. Before I let you go, I have a couple of questions which I want you to answer in the comment section. The first question that I have is this. In case the office of both the Speaker and Deputy Speaker is vacant, then who presides over the Lok Sabha? The second question that I have is, in case both the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker are absent on a certain day, who will preside over the Lok Sabha for that day? Answer these two questions in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching the video. I will see you in the next class very soon.